Hello, everybody. I'm Laura Armour again, and welcome to the Hive Mind site. I just wanted to give you a little overview of what this site is. It is where you will be actually creating your certification task lesson. And I'm going to turn off my camera so I can have the full screen to show you. I'll take you on a little tour of the Hive Mind site, starting with this landing page, the welcome page. Sometimes you can use the template, and it comes with an overview page template for the Manoa campus, and you can edit it through the resources folder. It's a pretty complicated series of steps, but in the Hive Mind site, I just kept it simple, and I used this edit button to put the URL of a Padlet page that I have. So if you arrive here, if you wouldn't mind, it would be fun to get a little hello from you all as you enter. You can come and click on the pink circle with the plus sign on it to uh, put your post in here. You can put something that you like, something that you're interested in, a picture. It's pretty easy to use. If you haven't ever used Padlet, you can experiment. It's pretty simple. But just put your name somewhere in there, and it'd be fun to see what pops up as we go through the days. So obviously you should start here where on the left where it says start here, and that is the instructions on how to use the template. And you'll notice probably that this looks different from the OTB site that you start out with. That is the workshop site where you are a participant in that, and so you have more of a student. Well, you have a Laulima role of student, so that you won't see the edit buttons on all the different pieces. So in this site, the HiveMind site, you have the role of instructor, so you will see all the different editable pieces. So just don't edit any of the instructions. Just edit your own Laulima page when you get it set up. So these are some step-by-step instructions for how to copy the template lesson page to create your own lesson page. You can't really go wrong if you follow all the steps. I'm not going to go through it now. You can read it for yourself. But here is the actual template lesson page. So um, I will make one just for you to see visually. So I'm clicking on the template lesson page, and it is got this note, replicate before editing. So please do not edit the template page. So be careful about that. So always look over here to see where you are. So to do this, the instructions are up here as well as on the instructions page. But you will go to more tools, add more pages, and then for your own lesson, you would put your own name. I'll say Laura's lesson, not lessons. And then be sure to check this box that says make new pages copies of the current one. So that is what's going to copy the template lesson into your own. So I'll say save. And it's taking a little bit to save. Okay, so it finished replicating. It just kind of flashed on the screen. And then it puts the lesson that you replicate and copy the template into down at the bottom. So down at the bottom is my lesson, and inside of it is the template. So it's all ready to go. But at this point, that's all you need to do really to get started is just set your lesson up in that manner. And then I would suggest revisiting the OTB site to kind of get some tips on maybe how to design your lesson. It's easier to design it on paper or in a document or a spreadsheet before you start coming and trying to edit into Laulima. But there's tips built into the template, as you can see, and of course you would end up writing over that or deleting those tips. But this is just to help you get started with some helper text. There is another template that's got more examples, more tips. It's not really intended for you to copy over. There's a lot to it, so you'd have to delete a lot. But it's interesting to see, and you can also learn some tips that come in handy, blocks of things that you might want to copy. This looks a little odd, and there's a reason for that. It's just trying to show a lot of different ways of doing things. So again, it's just an extra thing. And now we have our good example and bad example. So um, two of my digital learning initiatives team, Nicole Goya and Vanessa Garcia Gordano, have volunteered to create some lesson blueprints and actual lessons. So when you come here, it'll explain, and you can click to see the blueprint that was the design behind the lesson. So here's kind of below that information is the actual lesson page, which would be probably very similar to what you're creating for your certification task. So as you saw on the other site, there are a list of things that you need to include in your lesson. You can always go beyond what's in the list, and at any time you can add things that are not on the list. Just make sure you have the things on the list to pass the certification. So this is an example of a good lesson, and in the Hive Mind there will be the video talking about it. So you'll see that later. So you can look and see an example of a pretty good lesson and then a not so good one. It's not really bad. Nicole tried to make it bad, but it was already very good, so it's not very bad. Anyway, so here's again lesson design blueprints. And then I've also provided some blank ones, and it's also in the other site too. If you want to use, if you want to try to do a design first, you can use these for your own use. And I'm happy to review anyone's blueprints if you want before you start building. So this is the lesson of the not so good lesson. And Nicole is going to share a video talking about what could have been better. You'll find that um, later. Also, there's some past example lessons. This is from several uh, instances of teaching this online basics. Um, this is not all of the, this is just some that were kind of randomly sampled. And so feel free to look at them. These were created in different years. They had different criteria of what your criteria will be. So they're going to look a lot different. But you can still it's just interesting. I always like looking at examples of people's lessons. It's just out of curiosity. So you might also, so I included them. So this is basically what the Hive Mind site is about.